which was Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus. Henceforth, when people claim themselves to be African, this is in actuality who they are pledging their allegiance to and loyalty for. The general god Africanus, and claiming to be conquered people of this individual who the land was named after, proceeding from that time of origins. Also consider the word black and the original meaning, which is pale or blotted out. Among the few etymology terms used to express the true meaning of black, to say we are black is to say we are blotted out as a people, or to say we are the actual pale-skinned, dead, non-living, resembling a corpse void of life. Let us consider, as within most situations such as this one, the result of land being conquered and taken and renamed to suit the newly claimed owners has resulted in the loss of our roots. In truth, as we continue to gather the scattered pieces of information, henceforth, two very well known among American territories would be Washington and Jefferson. But without delay, let us continue to look at the crowning and descent of Kadamawe Haile Selassie, which translates into might or first power of the Trinity, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, elect of God, the 134th Christian ruler of Ethiopia, the oldest form of the Christian faith within the known world, descending from King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, Christ lineage, which is professed within the King James Bible, Revelation chapter 5, verse 5. Also to be considered is that King James was a Jacobite, descending from the tribe of Judah. As we know, King James had the Bible translated and reconstructed into chapters and verses, books removed, and so forth. But let us consider the concept that Ethiopia was never colonized by the Europeans, but the fact of the matter is that it was the first country within what we know as Africa to be colonized by religion. And the stories within Keeper the Dust must be considered here among such a topic, when the Queen of Sheba visited King of Solomon in the land of Israel. She explained that she and the people of her country worship the sun, moon, and stars, which was explaining the different perspectives of nature as their God and their tolerance for religious perspective. After 6 months of being within the company of Solomon, she returned to Ethiopia with the worship of the God of Israel, the God of Solomon, and declared to her people to no longer worship as before, and to now worship the God of Israel, which basically did away with the spiritual freedom of religious practices and introduced monotheism, the worship of one God, the God of Israel and Solomon, which wasn't to reference Yahweh to be the God of Ethiopia, but to now praise the God of another, which is religious colonialism. It is said that Solomon never visited Ethiopia and her people never set eyes on King Solomon. Henceforth, the Solomonic dynasty is said to be a myth, as well the union of Queen of Sheba and King Solomon, and as its roots based in fornication, trickery, and theft. When we consider the many names given to the continent, such as Africa, Alkebuland, and Tanzania, for example, we must consider the means of origin giving rise to those titles over time. For it has always been a race for power and control of the continent's wealth and resources. When we use Alkebuland, we reference the Arab perspective, and Tanzania means land of the slaves, and is also 50% Arabic, originating from the Swahili coast. And within the south of the continent is where the Arabic took their slaves. Henceforth, whenever El instead of the dark-skinned Jews having a percentage of Semitic blood which validates their Jewish rights. It is what one would call a cultural breeding that takes place in order to give a place to such claims. Consider that a Jew is not a race of people but a religious claim. Henceforth, being a Jew means you belong to that religious group, not a race of people. And according to the source, Bible, it references that Moses left Egypt with a mixed multitude of people, to which that specific group of individuals became what is now known as the Jews and Hebrews. And among the true Jewish descendants, there are different Jewish communities, such as the North African Jews, called Maghrebi Jews of Arab origins, who call West Africa Al-Maghreb, which means West in Arabic. There are also the South African Jews, called the Lemba Jews, and the East African Jews, called the Velashim Jews, who are spoken about within the Keeper Nagast, and had involvement in the story of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba.